Well, we're dropping off the Scout body today for sandblasting. Get the body dropped off and the frame dropped off, and I will show you guys that when we get it all cleaned up and ready to go. Well, everybody, we got the motor dropped off to the machine shop to get the cylinders bored out. Gonna have to go about 30, maybe 40 over on it. Piston options for it are 30, 40, and 60 that I found. There may be more. That's the options that I found. So it'll put it from the 152 up to about a 165, 170, somewhere around there. Got the hood up on the Travelette. Show you what I got going on there. So I found the other day that these battery cable terminals are terrible. So I'm going to pull those apart. Got some new ones over here and get them hooked up. And then I'm also leaking quite a bit of oil out of this thing, mainly when I'm driving it. So I think I got a bad valve cover gasket, maybe a couple other things. This pickup has the 345 V8 in it. I'd like to get the 392 in here and then possibly take this 345 and put it in Ashland's Scout over there. Still not 100% sure what I'm doing there, but I definitely want the 392 in this. I'll probably end up having it bored out a little bit bigger too, and maybe put some flat top pistons in it. I'd like to soup it up a little bit. I wish they sold roller cam and lifter kits for this, but they don't. I don't need a hot rod motor or anything. I want this thing to be able to pull weight is what I want. Then I got to look at the transmission. Pretty sure fourth gear is going out in this thing. It just doesn't sound right. I definitely need to look at the U-joints and some other things down there too. Anyway, gonna try and get these battery terminals changed out today, get the garage cleaned up, get the cherry picker put away and the motor stand put away and all this crap. Because yeah, I've got a bumper to build this next week, possibly a couple of metal fences and gates. Just kind of try to pick up whatever business I can right now, and then I have a whole bunch of stuff to do to get ready for those expos, and I will kind of be showing you guys along the way what we do at those expos and how we set up, but that's not going to be for about another month. I wasn't able to get time. The restaurant was way too loud when we went to number 2's birthday last night, but he may be coming over today. If he does, I'll do a quick interview with him. If he doesn't, then we'll have to get a hold of him at another time. That is the one thing about running your own business, is you're always busy. No matter what, you're always busy unless you got employees that you can trust to take care of everything. All of us are in the beginning phases, therefore we are all busy. But I will try and get you guys as much update as possible, and hopefully I can get this thing up and running and driving, and I'd love to be able to drive it around town. Well, as long as I'm at it, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour of my 1968 International Travelette. This thing is a beast. It's been my dream truck for a long time. 4-door, obviously, short bed. I believe they started making these 4-doors somewhere around 54, 56, something like that. They've made the panel trucks and the, well, pseudo Suburbans, whatever you want to call them. Their version of it's called the Travelall. Some of you guys are familiar with International already know that. This is what I grew up with, guys. I grew up driving these things. First truck I ever drove actually was a 1974 long bed 2-door International pickup, 4-speed manual with a 392 in it. Love that truck, and actually, if my uncle still got it, I'm going to try and get the 392 out of that truck. So we'll see. But yeah, I grew up with these on my grandpa and uncle's junkyard when I was a kid. Just love driving them around. Just reminds me of the smells of the junkyard, the dirt, the grease, the oil, all that. It was great smells to me, and these things just smell like that. It's not going to when I get it done, obviously, but right now it does, and it's good memories. The axles on these are kind of weird. They got an odd bolt pattern on them. They're 6 on, I think, 7.5 or 7.25. It's an old 60s dually pattern, and they don't make wheels for these anymore. So I'm going to swap those axles out with the 70s International. That's got the 8-lug Ford pattern. Manual hubs. This one's an all-wheel drive, not an all-wheel drive. Got Positrek axles in them. They will go anywhere. Said earlier, the motor is a 345 V8, basically the same block as the 304, the 345, and the 392, essentially the same thing. Carbureted, obviously. I don't think this is the improved cooling. I don't know if they even made the 345 the improved cooling. I know that they did the 392, but I'm not sure when they started that. But so far it's been doing pretty good, running pretty good other than the oil. This side obviously has had some dents and dings in it. That fender I had to kind of straighten out. It was crushed in all the way to about right here, but I got it straightened out. Little crack in the glass, ordered some new mirrors for it. This door obviously has been crunched in. It looks like it got tacoed at one point in time, but I have an extra door for it. Cab's a little dented up right there, and so is the bed. Looks like they slid this side into a ditch at some point. Roof's in pretty good shape. Got a few dents and dings. The bed obviously is used because that's what these things were used for. The old waffle maker bumper, it's pretty straight, got a few dents and dings. Tailgate's toast basically. And then this side, somebody's done some body work in the past on this side. I'd like to get a new bed for it, thinking maybe a step side. But anyway, this is it's a pretty cool old truck and I can't wait to get it going. Part of the reason I wanted this one obviously is the 4 doors. I can put my family in it, and it is got a lot of room inside. Old school bench seats. This one just got a cheap cover for it. Obviously the foam needs to be redone. This cover doesn't technically fit it, but it's working for the time being. There should be another seat back here, but it's in my backyard right now. But overall, this thing's fairly rust free. It's got that dent back there. I did repaint the dash. It had a bunch of crappy old foam and I wanted to get all the dirt out of it. But the gauges all shined up really nice. Half of them work, half of them don't. I will get those tuned up and working. Lots of wiring needs to be put away, obviously, and all of your levers for your heat, air, all that kind of stuff. And then the nice thing about this one is, though, the floor is remarkably rust-free for these old trucks. They're notorious for rusting. Got a little bit of rust damage right there, but other than that, the whole floor, the cab, everything is good on this. There is some rust up underneath here towards the firewall. And as you can see right here, this is where the rust is on it. Basically, this whole breather right here is full of leaves and crap from being parked. And that's what's run down into here. And it's held moisture, and that's what's rusted. So there's a little bit of rust right there. There's a little bit of rust on that side, and then that tiny little bit on the floor. And other than that, this thing is rust free. That's the majority of the reason I bought this one versus any other one that I had found. A little bit over here on the floor, but it's all surface rust, and a little bit right there, same thing. But the important part is rust free, because all that other stuff you can replace off just the 2-door pickups, and they're everywhere. So the rear doors actually are the same doors as the Travelalls, and those are, I don't want to say all over the place, but pretty well all over the place. And then the front doors, any of the cab parts except for the back half, obviously, fenders, grill, hood, the bed, everything else you can get off of one of the regular cab pickups. Really, that double cab is the important part right there, and it's pretty good shape. I might have to do a little bit of work on this front end here, but hey, I can deal with that. I do at some point want to swap out the whole front clip on this. They basically made this body style from 61 to 70-ish, depending on, when they registered it. This grill had some aluminum headlight bezels that went around there, and I didn't like them. That's 270s. I want more 60s. I really like the double headlight grills, the side-by-side grills of the 61, 62s. They're kind of hard to find, especially in good shape. I have found a few, but they're also pretty tough. But it all should swap over, and I don't like the dashes on the 61s and 62s. They have just a plain old dash, basically straight with a little instrument cluster on them, and that's it. And I like the look of the dash on these 63 pluses. So that's kind of my intent there. I'll show you guys some pictures of that as I go. But right now, I just want to be able to drive the thing. Well, that concludes the tour of my 1968 International Travelette. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will be showing you more of that as I go throughout the year. I'm not going to be doing a ton of work on this, but I will be doing a ton of work on that to come. So follow along if you want to watch the progress on these Internationals, and follow along if you want to see the progress on our new business ventures.